Hi, fifth graders. This is Mrs. Hall. I am recording a review video for you guys to use on topic 13. You guys will do a test on topic 13 on Friday, and so I hope this review video will help you to get a good score on that test. What I am using for this review video is the reteaching. You can find this in the back of your book if you have that at home. If not, you can access your book on the Pearson website that you normally go to submit your assignments or to complete your assignments and look at the videos and things like that. So I'm going to go through the odd problems. And so if you guys want to use the even problems to study or get some more practice on, that would be great. Okay. So I'm going to start with set A. Set A is equivalent to topics 13's lesson 1, which is customary units of length. So customary units are the units that we use here in the United States. They use a different type of unit in other countries, which we will talk about in a little bit. But let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to do problems 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 on set A. So they need us to convert different units into other units. And so it gives us this little note up here. Remember to multiply when changing larger units to smaller units and to divide when changing smaller units to larger units. So we're going to first start with 2 feet is equal to how many inches. We are going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. So we will be multiplying here. Okay. So I like to think about it like this. Well, I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So therefore, if we're working with 2 feet, I would need to multiply this by 2 to get 2 feet. And then multiply this by 2. Oop, not 2 feet, but just by 2. And that will give me 24 inches. So 2 feet is equal to 24 inches. Okay, now number 3 is going to be a little bit different because number 3, we're going from 12 feet to how many yards. So now we're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So here we are going to divide. So if you know how many yards are in a feet, then we can use that information. Over here, we do have our little conversion chart that we can use. A lot of you guys have probably memorized them. At least maybe not like mile, because mile is a lot of bigger numbers. But some of them are pretty easy. Like most of us know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So that's easy. So if we look here, 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So if one yard is equal to 3 feet, then we can take that 3 feet and divide it by our 12 to see how many feet or how many yards are in 12 feet. So we divide it like this. If this way here looks funny to you, start getting used to that because that is exactly how we're going to do it a lot in 6th grade. But you can also look at it as 12 divided by 3 like this. Either way, we get 4 because 3 times 4 is 12. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. So our answer is 4 yards. So 12 feet is equal to 4 yards. Okay. Number 5, we have 5 yards is equal to how many feet? Here we're going from a larger to a smaller. So we're going to go back to multiplying, right? So how I like to think about it, well, 1 yard is equal to 36. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 yard is equal to 33 feet. I was thinking inches. 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So if we need to get to 5 yards, we multiply that by 5 to get to 5 yards. And what we do to this side, we always have to do to this side. So 3 times 5 is 15. So 5 yards is equal to 15 feet. Okay, on to number 7. So now we're going to compare using greater than, less than, or equal to. So we have 7 yards, and that is greater than, equal to, or less than 50 feet. Okay. Well, I know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. We just did that actually, right? So if I multiply this by 7, I get to 7 yards. What I do to this side of the equal sign, I have to do this side. So I'm going to multiply this by 7 to get 21 feet. Okay, so now what I can do is I can write this into here because I cannot compare a yard to a foot, right? Yards to feet don't compare. I have to have the same unit. So I'm going to take this unit of feet, and I'm going to compare that. So if this is 50 feet, well, I know that 7 yards is equal to 21 feet. So I'm going to write that down here, 21 feet, because those are the same. 7 yards is equal to 21 feet. Now I can compare feet to feet. What is bigger, 21 feet or 50 feet? 50 feet. So 21 feet is less than 50 feet, or 7 yards is less than 50 feet. Okay, let's go on to number 8. Oh, I'm sorry, number 9, we're skipping. So we're going to do number 9. Okay, and we have 4 feet 8 inches compared to 1 yard. Ooh, 2 feet and 1 inch. Okay, so this one might be a little bit different, right? Okay, so for this one, I think one of our best options would be to change everything into inches because we need to add these inches in. And so it would make more sense to make everything into inches, and then we can compare the inches, okay? So 4 feet is how many inches? So if 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, then 4 feet is going to be equal to, times that by 4, 48 inches. Okay, so we have 48 inches, plus we have this other 8 inches here, right? So 4 feet is equal to 48 inches, but we also have to add this other 8 inches. So we're going to add 8. That gives us 56. So we have 50. So on this side, we have 56 inches, and we're going to compare that to the other side. So in our little chart over here, it tells us 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. It also tells us that 1 yard is equal to 36 inches. So right off the bat, I know that I have 36 inches, plus I have this 2 feet. So if I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, then I can multiply both sides by 2. So 2 feet is equal to 24 inches. So I'm going to add that over here. And then I'm left with my 1 foot over, or 1 inch over here, right? 1 inch. So I got to add that. So 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. 4, 5, 6. So 61 inches is what I have in total here. So now I can compare the 56 inches to the 61 inches because we have the same units, right? And I know that 61 inches is greater. So 4 feet 8 inches is less than 1 yard 2 feet and 1 inch. Okay, so as long as you can get them to the same unit, that is fine. In this case, we could not change it all to feet because it would still have this inch over here. So it's probably best to change it to the smallest unit. And in this case, a yard is the biggest, feet are smaller, and then inches is the smallest. All right, let's go on to set B. Set B is equivalent to 13-2, which is customary units of capacity. So this is, again, customary units are what we use in the United States. So customary units of capacity is what we're going to be working with. So let's look at number 1. 32 cups is equal to how many gallons? Okay, so over here it tells me 2 cups are equal to 1 pint, And it also says that, oh, that's just a little example. Okay. Oh, up here. Here we go. This is where it is. So 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. And 1 pint is equal to 2 cups. So if I have 32 cups, I need to figure out how many gallons that is. So unless you know an easier way to do this, which some of you may have already figured that out, and that's fine, I'm going to show you a way to do it if you don't know little shortcuts, okay? So I know that 2 cups is equal to 1 pint. So how many pints are in these 32 cups? So if I take my 32 cups and I divide them by 2, because two cups are in 1 pint, then I get, let's see, 16. So now I get 16 cups is equal to, or I'm sorry, 16, that's going to be 16 pints. Okay, so 16 pints are the same as 32 cups. Okay, so now I need to take those pints, and I see here that 2 pints is equal to 1 quart. So I can take those 16 pints and divide it by 2 again to see how many quarts that is. This I get 8, so that's 8 quarts. Okay, so I'm almost there, right? 4 quarts is equal to 1 gallon. So if I take this 8 and I divide it by 4, I get 2. So that means it's 2 gallons. So 32 cups are equal to 2 gallons. Okay, so that's a lot of different steps. You guys may know an easier way to figure that out, but just in case you don't, I'm giving you the longer version. Okay. All right, number 3. 4 quarts is equal to how many cups? Okay, so up here, I am told that 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. Okay, so we got to work a little bit backwards here, right? So 1 quart is equal to 2 pints, backwards than the last one that we did. So if I want to get to, let's see, 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. So if I want to get to 4 quarts, I got to multiply it by 4. What I do to one side, I got to do to the other side. Okay, so I know that in 4 quarts, I also have 8 pints, right? Well, 1 pint is equal to 2 cups. So now I need to take that 8 pints, and if I know that 1 pint is equal to 2 cups, like it tells me over here, and I need to get it to 8 pints, I multiply it by 8, equals, and I multiply this by 8 to get 16 cups. So then it equals 16 cups. Okay. So I'm converting each step because this is the information that I'm given. Okay. Let's skip number 5 and go to number 7. I think that one's a little bit more important. Okay, so list. We have 12 pints, 3 gallons, 16 cups in order from least to greatest. Okay, least to greatest. So the easiest way for me to do this is to convert them all into the same thing. Okay, so I think the best way to do this would be, my initial thoughts are to convert them all into cups because that's the smallest unit. So remember we did that for set A as well. We took the smallest unit. So let's see if we can figure out how many pints are in 12, or how many cups are in 12 pints. So up here we have 1 pint is equal to 2 cups. 1 pint equal to 2 cups. So then if I need to get to 12 pints, multiply by 12. So that's 24 cups. Okay. Now gallons are going to be a little bit different, right? So this one is also equal to 24 cups. So gallons for quarts are equal to 1 gallon. So let's go ahead and convert that. So if we have go back to my grid. If we have 3 gallons, I'm sorry, if we have 1 gallon, 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. So then we need to convert this into 3 gallons. So then times this by 3 as well, and we get 12 quarts. Ooh, aren't we lucky? 12 quarts. And I was thinking, never mind. I was thinking that we're working with pints and pints, but no, we're working pints and quarts. Okay, so let's keep going. So then we have 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. So 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. And we want to get to 12 quarts, right? So multiply this by 12. Multiply this by 12. So we have 24 pints. And we're almost there. Scoot up a little bit. Now we need to convert those pints into cups. So we know that 1 cup is equal to, 1 pint is equal to 1 pint is equal to 2 cups, but we need to get to 24 pints. So times 24 times 24. Let me scoot this up. And we get to 48 cups, right? So 48 cups is what we're going to write up here. Okay, so now we can take them and look at all of them because they're all in units of cups. So we want them from least to greatest. So least would be the 16 cups, right? Then we would have the 24 cups, but really we converted that from 12 pints. So we're going to write 12 pints. And then the 48 cups is the most, which would be 3 gallons. So this would be your answer right here. Okay, let's go on to set C. Okay, so set C is working with 13-3, which is converting customary units of weight. Okay, so we're working with pounds, ounces, and tons. So let's do a few of these problems. So number 1, 2 pounds. Pounds, the abbreviation to pounds is LB. Don't ask me why. It's kind of a silly one. So 2 pounds is equal to how many ounces? So here it tells us, remember that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. But we need to get to 2 pounds, right, to find the equivalent. So 2 pounds is equal to what we do to this side, we have to do to this side. So 16 times 2, 32. So it's 32 ounces. 2 pounds is equal to 32 ounces. All right, number 3. We have 4,000 pounds is equal to how many tons? Okay, so this is where we're going from smaller to larger, and just like in set B, we can divide. So there are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. So if we divide this by 2,000 pounds, And remember, if this looks funny, we got to get used to it because that's how they do it a lot in 6th grade. It's the same thing as this. And this may look a little overwhelming, but if we just look at the 2 and the 4, if we have 4 cookies and there are 2 of us, me and you who is watching the video, we can both have 2 cookies, right? So 2, and then we can just add these zeros here. Pretty simple. We can use our basic fact and add zeros, just like when we're multiplying, we can do that. Okay, so, or I'm sorry, not 2, not 2,000. It is just 2. And actually, I should write my 2 over here. So if we had 4,000, let's look at it differently. If we had 4,000 cookies and there are 2,000 people, each person would get 2 cookies. Okay. How we can check it would be our basic fact. Okay. So we can do, if we have 4 divided by 2, it equals 2. So then, or 4, sorry guys, 2 times, this isn't working for me. We can check that by doing 2,000, times 2. A little bit of a brain fart, guys. Okay, so 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 0, 0, and 2 times 2 is 4. So 4,000. So that means that 2 tons is here. So 4,000 pounds is equal to 2 tons. All right. Let's look at number 5. So we have 7 pounds. And we're going to add in a greater than, less than, or equal to sign for 70 ounces. Okay, so if I know that 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces, like it tells me right up here, and I need to get to 7 pounds, I need to multiply by 7 to get to 7 pounds. What I do to one side, I have to do the other side. Now 16 times 7, I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm going to multiply it over here on the side. 6 times 7 is 42. Carry my 4. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 more is 11. So that's 112 ounces. So now I can compare them a lot easier, right? So I know that 7 pounds is equal to 112 ounces. So I can now compare the ounces to the ounces. I know that 112 ounces is greater than 70 ounces. So therefore 7 pounds is greater than 70 ounces. All right, last one for this set, number 7. How many ounces are equivalent to 1/4 of a ton? Ooh, so 1 ton, 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds, right? And 1 pound is equal to, let me write pounds here, is equal to 16 ounces. So if we needed to get to 2,000 pounds, we would do this, right? Okay. So we have 2,000 times 16, 0, 0, 0, 12, my placeholder, 0, 0, 0, and 2. I'm going to add this up. So this is 32,000. Okay. So that is our first step. So we have 32 ounces are equal to 1 ton. Okay, so now that I know how many ounces are in 1 ton, I can figure out how many ounces are in 1/4 of a ton. So the easiest way that I can think about doing this would be to take that 32,000 and divide it by 4, because 1/4 is really dividing something by 4, right? If I divide it into 4 pieces, I'm going to get 1 of my 4 pieces. So 32 divided by 4 is 8. 32. Bring down my 0. I'm just going to keep bringing down zeros, right? So I can just write zeros here. So 8,000. So how many ounces are equivalent to 1/4 of a ton? So 1/4 of a ton is equal to 8,000 ounces. That was a lot of steps. Okay, so let's go on to set D. All right, set D is working with, let me check here. Set D is working with 13-4. And 13-4, I believe, starts our metric units, right? Yes, metric units of length. So in other countries, they use metric units. Here in the United States, we use customary units, but they use metric units in other countries. A lot of other countries use metric units. So we need to know metric units here in the United States because we work with so many people that are not living in the United States. And so many countries use it that we need to know it. Okay. So let's go through this just like we did the rest of them. So let's start with number 1. We have, and I don't think I'm going to be able to go through all of these. Wait, let's do 1, 3, and 5. Okay. So number 1 is 5 meters is equal to how many centimeters? So up here I have my little conversion chart that they gave us. So I know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So just like we have done before, let me show my whiteboard. Just like what we have done before, I can multiply this by 5 to get 5 meters. And what I do to one side, I have to do the other side. So 5 meters is equal to 500 centimeters. Oh, this should have a C. Sorry, guys, centimeters. Okay, let's look at number 3. 2 kilometers is equal to how many centimeters? Okay, so this one we're going to have to do a little bit of extra work for. So I know that where'd my pen go? 1 kilometer, looking at my chart, 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. Okay, so then 2 kilometers times everything by 2 is equal to 2,000 Let me change these units here, sorry. 1,000 meters. Sorry, guys, meters. Okay, so now I know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So if 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters and I have 2,000 meters that I'm working with right now, I'm going to multiply it by 2,000. Multiply this by 2,000. And what I'm going to do is use my basic fact. 1 times 2 is 2. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 5 zeros that I'm working with. And put my comma in. So then 2 kilometers is equal to 200,000 centimeters. So here we were not given the conversion from kilometers to centimeters. So I had to go from kilometers to meters and then from meters to centimeters. And sometimes you have to do that, okay? Okay, so let's go on to number 5. This will be our last one for this set. 10 centimeters is equal to how many millimeters? Well, my chart says that 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. So if I times this by 10 to get 10 centimeters, I have to times this by 10 to get 100 millimeters. So my answer is 100 millimeters. All right. And our next set is set E. Set E is going over 13-5, converting metric units of capacity. So it's working with capacity, but again with metric units, which is the thing that they use in other countries, but that we do have to get used to. We actually do use a lot of liters here, actually, but not so many milliliters, at least in everyday life. But we do use liters in our water bottles and stuff like that. Okay, so let's start with number 1. 6 liters is equals to how many milliliters? So over here we have our little chart. 1,000 milliliters is equal to 1 liter. So 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. And we need to get to 6 liters. So we multiply it by 6. What we do to one side, we have to do the other side. So we end up with 6,000 milliliters. So that is our answer. 6 liters is equal to 6,000 milliliters. Okay, number 3. 2,000 milliliters is equal to how many liters? So remember before when they said if we're going from large to small, we can multiply, but if we're going from small to large, we can divide. So if I know that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters, then I can divide this by 1,000. Or if that looks silly to you, like we've talked about, we can do this, right? And really we're just taking, we can really just take out those zeros and think about it as I have 2 cookies and I have 1 person. So how many cookies go to that person? They get both cookies, right? They get 2 cookies. So that's 2. Okay, so that means that 2,000 milliliters is equal to 2 liters. Okay, if it makes more sense to you, you can even check it. Let's check it with our red pen. If 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters, and we want this we want to times it by 2 to get to 2,000 milliliters, then we times this side by 2 to get to 2 liters. 2 liters, 2 liters. Okay. Okay, our last section that we're going to go over, because you guys skipped section G, you guys skipped 13-7. You guys did not go over it this week. And so we're just going to, and that's set G. So we're just going to go over set F, which is 13-6, which is converting metric units of mass. So set F. Okay, metric units of mass. So let's look at number 1. So mass is, for metric units, is going to be kilograms and grams. And 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. And so let's see if we can convert some of these. So we have 30 kilograms is equal to how many grams? Okay, so if 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams, like it tells us over there, and I need to get to 30 kilograms, and I multiply by 30. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. 1 times 30 is 30, and then I'm going to add 3 more zeros. Okay, remember the basic fact? 1 times 3 is 3, or I'm sorry, I actually did 1 times 30, but you can do it this way. 1 times 3 is 3, and I'm adding 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So I get 30,000. So 30,000. So 30 kilograms is equal to 30,000 grams. And number 3, 5,000 grams is equal to how many kilograms? So remember, when we're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, we can divide. So if 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams, then we can take this 5,000 and divide it by 1,000. Remember, this is how we're doing it in 6th grade, so we got to get used to that. But if it makes more sense for you to look at it like this, we can do this as well. And remember, we're just going to ignore the zeros. If I have 5 cookies and there is 1 of me, how many cookies can I eat? I can eat all 5. And that's a good day for Mrs. Hall because you all know I like cookies. Okay, so that's 5. So that means that 5,000 grams is equal to 5 kilograms. Okay, and again, we can check that if we would like. We can check that. 1 kilogram is equal to, this is actually a different way to check it. So this gives you a couple different ideas and options. If I want this to be 5 kilograms, then I can multiply by 5. What I do to one side, I got to do the other side. That gives me 5,000 grams. 5 kilograms is equal to 5,000 grams. Same thing that I ended up with up here. Okay, so you know what? I do want to go over one more. So let's go ahead and go over this just because there wasn't very many word problems that we went over. So let's go ahead and look at, let's actually look at this example here. In a contest, Lena jumped 3 yards and Ed jumped 8 feet. Who jumped farther? So identify the hidden question or questions. How many feet are in 3 yards? Because we cannot compare 3 yards to 8 feet, right? We have to convert one or the other. It's usually best to convert the smallest unit, convert everything to the smallest unit like we've talked about, right? Because 8 feet can't really be converted into yards. It would end up with so many yards and so many feet, and we would be back to square one. So 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So then 3 yards is equal to 9 feet, right? So then we can determine based on this information that Lena jumped 3 yards or 9 feet. So if we looked at that, Lena's jumping 9 feet. Ed is jumping 8 feet. So Lena jumped farther because 9 feet is greater than 8 feet. But do not forget, the biggest thing is that you cannot compare different units. You have to change them to the same unit, convert them to the same unit in order to compare them, okay? All right, so I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope that you are able to get some good information from here and get a better test score. And I wish you all luck on your Topic 13 test. And I'll see you soon.